mean, first of all, a lot of respect for Northwestern, and those kids are going through a really, really challenging season, and they continue to come out and fight. They continue to come out and represent that university the right way. There's a lot of really good men on that coaching staff, and so just hats off for those guys for continuing to play the game the way they're capable of doing it. Told our guys in the locker room, proud of the way we played. I thought we wanted to kind of establish our physical identity. I think anytime you play a Big Ten team, that's really, really important to make sure that you control the line of scrimmage. We were able to outrush them 268 to 104. Both of our running backs had over 6 yards per carry. I think when you have stat lines like that, you're going to have really successful days. I thought we started fast. We got a lead. That's what you want to do in games like this for sure. I thought we maybe hit a little bit of a low on defense on that drive. Could have made a couple plays to get off the field. They hit a little bit of a rub route on us right before halftime and got a score. And so challenged the guys in the locker room to come out and finish this thing in the third quarter, and we certainly did that. I thought we put some really good drives together on both sides of the ball in the second half to start, and then we were able to kind of empty the bench at the end and get a lot of guys in there and get them a lot of opportunity and some quality snaps. And so it was a good day. It was a good win. It was a good win for us going to 3-0, and so happy with the way we played today. So questions?
What's the challenge to get the offense back into rhythm after they take like 8.5 minutes off the clock in the second quarter and kind of make it closer?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We just go out and execute plays. I don't know that it's any necessary challenge because of the time they're on the field or not. Maybe gets you out of rhythm a little bit. But I think we came back on the first play of the drive and hit a big pass to Calhoun to kind of get that drive going, and then we stalled out with a sack and just kind of ended the half that way. But I don't know. I don't know that really affects you. You just got to be able to go out and put that behind and execute and answer.
No turnovers, one punt. You have to be pleased with that level of efficiency.
Yeah, I mean, when you beat another Power 5 Big Ten team like that, right? The Big Ten is supposed to be, an elite conference, right? And went out and beat them 38-7, and when our guys were out there. So I think when you play football like that, I think it's another cap in the feather for the ACC and what we're doing.
You mentioned the physicality of Big Ten teams. First possession of the game, they have the ball third down, and about that far they go in the middle, and they get stuffed. Did that play kind of set the tone?
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know if it set the tone, but it certainly was a big play in the game. That when drives get converted, and you saw that throughout the day. I think the one thing we've got to get cleaned up for sure is our third down efficiency on defense. And I think as the day went on, you see when people convert drives, that's when they're able to put some things together. And so I thought that was a big play to go out there and get the 3 and out. I wound up being a 3 and out in the first drive, and then we answered with the touchdown right after it. And so I think that was obviously a good way to start.
Mike, Riley's elusiveness, his ability to sort of evade sacks in the pocket and then obviously make people miss in the open field. Do you ever find yourself kind of marveling at that on the sideline when a play breaks down and the next thing you know he kind of emerges from the line and he's running at top speed?
He's the ultimate eraser, right? And anytime you have one of those, it makes a lot of bad plays look really good sometimes, and there's a lot of like, oh, good play, Riley. That happens during the course of the game, but that's who he is. And so, he's really athletic. He makes a ton of plays. He's a competitive kid. We've talked about that ad nauseum in this room. And so it doesn't surprise you, but it certainly is impressive. And we certainly don't take it for granted, the plays that he's able to make with his legs.
On that note, it looked like he was sliding in the first quarter more than maybe we've seen him do. Is that kind of a point of emphasis for Riley to get down and not take unnecessary contact?
No, I wouldn't think it's not any more of a point of emphasis, but we do talk about it. We don't want him getting peppered as he's running down the field in the first quarter of football games, and so we want him to protect themselves. We want him to make smart decisions with how he takes hits and when he takes hits. And so I think some of what you saw maybe a little bit more today than some of the other games was him getting out through the middle on first and second down. And if he gets out through the middle on first and second down, like that's what we want him to do. We certainly don't want him to get hit, and I think it'll be a little different. You'll see him a little different, and you always do on third down when he's got to get the sticks. But, first and second down, we're going to ask him to protect himself, and I think he did that.
Now that you've got 3 games in defensively, what are the areas you're seeing growth compared to, fall camp and when you were plotting this out?
I think we're playing good defense when we're on the same page and we're communicating, we're doing the things that we want to do. I think it's 2 games in a row where we have to be a little bit better on third down. I think that's our emphasis and our focus is we've got to be able to get a little bit more pressure. We've got to be able to cover a little bit longer. We've got to be able to be a little bit more effective and disruptive on third down. I think that's where our biggest challenge is right now. I think if they don't convert half of their third downs, today, I think even the flow of the game feels even a little bit more lopsided than it really was. And so I think that's the biggest area. I think we're playing, good against the run when we're sound and we're fitting the things the way we need to. And I think we can cover. I think we got the ability to make plays on the football. We just got to get third down and figure it out a little bit.
Coach.
I mean, that's kind of who we are. I mean, we're trying to run the ball against everybody we play, and that's just kind of our starting point, and that's where game control comes from. We talk about that a lot. I think we actually came out throwing it a little bit more in the beginning of the game than we actually normally do, and then I think that kind of maybe loosened it up a little bit and got us into a rhythm where we were able to get some good runs going, and I think our O-line is starting to come together and starting to play at a really high level, and you saw some of that today.
You guys are such a veteran squad. How much does that help you guys get to where you are right now, record-wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think that plays a big role for sure, and I think it allows them to handle the week the right way. I think that's the biggest thing. These guys have been through a lot together. They don't blink when things get thrown at them, and we talk about again like being a second year in the system, like they know what the weeks are like, they know what Tuesday's like, they know what Wednesday's like, they know what we're expecting of them, and they know what it takes to come out on those days and have success. And so, it's good working with a group that's been through it, and I think it obviously plays a big role.
Justin Pickett wasn't able to go today. Is that the same injury that's been bothering him?
Yeah, so he had an elbow against Lafayette, right? And so he's just kind of recovering from that. He'll be a game-to-game decision. He wasn't able to suit up today. Anthony Nelson's got a lower body thing that's just nagging at him a little bit. That won't be a long deal. We'll get him back soon. And then Jalen Coleman is still day-to-day. Probably could have played Jalen today if we needed to. But while we're healthy at running back, it's good to give him a little bit more time to just kind of recover and get a little bit stronger. And so it was nice to be able to do that with him today. Good.